likes me. Nobody likes me. But that's okay, cause I don't like y'all anyway. Man, I don't like y'all anyway.
We need to pay attention to all this stuff. And don't muddy the waters. Don't let your mind get sidetracked. Because you need to remember that when, it's going to be time to vote again soon. So it's going to be local elections, all this stuff, everything, all these elections. You have to remember that the Republicans would rather collude with Russians than collude with Americans.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Donald Trump is a white supremacist who enables white supremacists. No lie. I mean, that's accurate. It's an accurate assessment of the situation.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Dragnets. How do they work? Just say no. Yeah. Here's the problem with just saying no. You can go about your life trying not to do drugs, but you turn on the news and you see Wigmaster over there talking about public health emergencies. That's why drugs are hard to stop. Because of people like that. Big week. It's always a big week. Can't we please have an uneventful week? That's all I want. All I want is one.
Them Staten Island niggas still puffing them dust blunt.
Oh, Jay, why are you wearing that resist shirt? What are you resisting? Bunch of isms and trees. Bigotry, misogyny, racism, fascism, and sexism. The people here are the people on the South Shore, in the rich neighborhoods, the richer neighborhoods, not the poor neighborhoods, are brought up on bigotry, hatred, and classification of, societal roles. Hey, yo. What goes on, peeps? Another edition of Dyze in your house. It's Friday. It's 6 o'clock. I'm here on YouTube. And you're here listening to J Porks. All up in your house. All up in your ears. The bridge from J Porks podcast to J Porks podcast. From tweet to tweet. From status to status. This keeps you up to date with what's going on in the mind of me. So, busy week. I just want to tell everybody who tuned in for the 200th episode of the J Porks podcast. I want to thank everyone for doing that. And everyone who reached out to me and congratulated me and all that stuff. I thank you. Couldn't do it without people listening. So I'm happy that everybody, listened. I got a new intro set up for the J Porks podcast. You can get that at andydeer.com. And you can get that at jporks.com. You get all the latest J Porks podcast things, whether that's Dyze in your house, J Porks podcast, any future podcast endeavors. You go to jporks.com for the latest at all times. You can always do that. You can always get the latest there. So like I said, we had a big week. Not in terms of me working. Possibly I'll get to my struggles at work in an extended edition of the J Porks podcast this weekend, but this morning, it's Friday morning. I'll admit this is not live. It is Friday morning. This is being recorded, and as of press time, former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is set to plead guilty to lying as the FBI as the National Security Advisor. Now, as of press time, these are reports. Michael Flynn is not at court yet. So, but we heard a couple of weeks ago, we heard three or 4 weeks ago, we heard Mueller's team has enough information to indict Michael Flynn. And then about 2 weeks ago, or 10 days ago, we heard Michael Flynn's legal team has stopped cooperating with talking to the Trump legal team. Now we see this. Now, for those who aren't aware, now pleading guilty, lying to the FBI is the same thing George Papadopoulos pleaded guilty to. And George Papadopoulos flipped this summer and was actually wearing a wire. when he went back to work. Like, they had him for that long. But Flynn is dead to rights with this Mueller investigation. And if you're wondering about, like, oh, I thought I heard Michael Flynn has done more things than this. He has. There's the lobbying for a foreign nation while working for America. You know? There's the Turkish, his lobbying firm working in Turkey. They were gonna kidnap somebody. They were gonna kidnap some Muslim, and they were gonna send them back to a Muslim cleric, and they were gonna send them back to Turkey. All of that stuff, and you see, oh, Michael Flynn's just gonna plead guilty to lying to the FBI. Yeah, well, all legal experts would tell you that this is a direct sign that Michael Flynn, because look, the lying to the FBI carries a charge of 5 years in jail, right? So basically, the judge at sentencing gets to decide how much of that 5 years you get. And how much of that 5 years he gets is going to be based on the song he sings and how loud he sings it, as Nick Ackerman put it on Stephanie Rule's MSNBC show this morning. If he doesn't have any valuable information about Treasongate, you know, that's what we're going to call it now. It's not even Trump-Russia anymore. It's Treasongate. There are other parties, there are other countries involved. Like, it goes deeper than that. Like, the working for Turkey goes against the Iran sanctions. That's a whole nother thing. Again, I'm no foreign policy expert. Michael Flynn was supposed to be. He was the national security advisor. He was supposed to be the foreign policy expert. Yet he's facing jail time for lying to the FBI about committing crimes that have to do with lobbying for foreign nations and getting paid by foreign governments while working for the American government. It also signals this is the first person who actually worked for Trump after he moved into the White House, and not just somebody who worked on the campaign trail. Papadopoulos, I think, was out towards the end, or he wasn't officially in the regime. Flynn was interviewed. Mike Pence interviewed him, so he got fired for lying to Mike Pence, allegedly. How much does Mike Pence know? So the question is, what does this mean? And the question is, why is Michael Flynn one of the three golden geese? One of the three golden geese that Trump has never said negative words against. He's got three golden geese. He's got Ivanka, he's got Flynn, and he's got Putin. These are three people he never says anything negative against. He trashes his attorney general. He trashes Rex. Everybody. We'll get to Sexy Rexy in a second. We'll get to Sexon Rexon. So you got all these reporters lined up outside the courtroom. Listen, I don't personally think that we find anything out today. He's expected to plead guilty to lying to the FBI. He's not going to get up there and say, yes, I'm going to plead guilty and I want to talk about Trump. He's not going to say that today. All we're going to know is Flynn's lawyer is going to come out and make a statement saying that these charges are, blown out of proportion and a misrepresentation of what actually happened, and we will get to the bottom of this as it goes. That's all it's going to be. And to think that it's going to be anything other than that and a long news day is just not accurate. Now, also today, by the time this goes on to air, there is going to be the tax bill voted on probably. And the GOP tax bill that would increase the deficit by over $1 trillion in the next 10 years. $1 trillion. The CBO estimates the plan would add $1.44 trillion to the deficit. The deficit that Republicans are always claiming that we can't add money to. Whenever any Democrat wants to do something, the Republican excuse is, oh, well, we can't add more money to the deficit. The deficit, we have to shrink the deficit. How is 1.44 trillion added to the deficit fiscally responsible? How is that Republican? And they want to lump that in with tax cuts. Now, again, I'm not an economist. I'm not even that good at math. But let me explain how something works. If you cut taxes, deficit goes up, not down. It never goes down when you cut taxes. The only way to lower the deficit is to either A, figure out a new place to get money from, recreational cannabis, or you can raise taxes. That's what you can do. I mean, the way Republicans are, and a perfect example, I'll use one example. I will expound on this on Monday on the J Parks podcast when I have a longer form to do it. But the perfect microcosm of the Republican Party is Lindsey Graham. Someone like Lindsey Graham, who during the campaign called Trump unhinged, called him a moron, said he was unfit, this and that. They asked him the other day about Trump's fitness. And he said, oh, well, you know, it's getting old hearing that already. It's getting old. You said it. If you guys had a spine and you guys weren't lizard people, if you guys had spines, you would stand up to this dude. You have the House, you have the Senate, you have the executive, and you got nothing done. You couldn't even repeal the Affordable Care Act that you've been screaming you're going to repeal for the last 8 years. You couldn't do that with full control of the government. Okay? And now you're so desperate. The GOP is so desperate to get this done that they see something that is essentially a slam dunk in tax cuts and Republicans. I mean, that's essentially something that Republicans will always vote yes on. They could party lines it, and it would work. But when you mix in they throw in and this tax bill repeals the Affordable Care Act individual mandate. So now these people don't need to have insurance anymore. And, you know, senators are going to say, oh, well, I didn't vote to repeal the Affordable Care Act, but you know what? I'm going to vote for this because, you know, taxes are tied to it. That's how things are done in Congress. Like, you know, you attach bills to something else, and then they have to vote on them all together. But I mean, so you got Republicans, they want to cut taxes, raise the deficit $1.44 trillion. And all of this is going to they're going to vote on a day where all of these reporters are lined up outside a courtroom in Washington, D.C., not lined up outside Capitol Hill waiting on the vote, pressuring these people and asking them questions and peppering them with, you know, questions and such. So we got that. And all of this is unfolding. So this is going to take the day. And then whatever vote happens either tonight, it's going to be, you know, it's going to underscore, this is going to distract from that. And maybe that's what it's all about. I mean, I don't know. There's got to be a reason why Trump has never said anything negative about Flynn. Even though Flynn has committed crimes. And not even like talking, you know, like, it's not even like we know that Michael Flynn was directly involved in like Russian hacking. We know he spoke to Russian ambassadors and stuff. But it's not on the level of Manafort and stuff. It's not on the level, I mean, I don't think so anyway. It might be. There's stuff we don't know. We'll find out. He met with Russian ambassadors. He lied to the FBI about it. You know who didn't lie yesterday? I don't know if it was yesterday. The other day. Jefferson Beauregard Sessions, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Schiff was talking to Sessions, and they asked Sessions if he gave any recommendation about the Comey firing to Trump. Because, you know, he recused himself from the Russian inquiry by that time because he spoke to Russians and didn't tell anybody. Not that he didn't tell anybody, he pretended he didn't speak to Russians, and when you lie, that's bad. I mean, you know, that's bad. So, Sessions declined to answer the question. So what does that mean? Does that mean he did? Does that mean he lied last time? But is it because he lied to Al Franken it's okay? Because Al Franken, you know, used to be a comedian? And he might have taken some gropey pictures? And all of a sudden, you know, it's a big deal? Even though he's the only person who, in Congress, the only person who actually is under an ethics investigation for any of this? I mean, that's already started. He submitted himself to one because he understands what he did was wrong and he wants to get better, unlike the next senator of Alabama who's going on a Twitter, having a Twitter beef with Jimmy Kimmel, calling him the liberals and Hollywood elites. The Hollywood elites don't want Roy Moore in the Senate. Jimmy Kimmel's like, listen, I'm going to come to whatever event you invited me to. Just make sure to wear that cute little leather vest. You see that leather vest he wears? What is that? What's that about? Oh, man. I got the TV live. I got MSNBC live. It's, and a White House official. And here's Flynn. I can't believe I'm doing play-by-play to this like a Mike Francesa. This isn't going to be till 6 o'clock. But no, seriously. As we're recording, Michael Flynn is walking into the courthouse, and a White House official has said that Trump has been told about the Flynn plea. So again, to recap, we don't know if Flynn is definitely flipping, but we know that legal experts, again, listen, it's 2017, it's Trump regime. We don't know, like, normal is not the same anymore. Like, so you can't say, oh, well, this is going to happen because this is how it's always happened. Unfortunately, the times are a-changing, and things are just, like, you got Trump who retweets literally anti-Muslim propaganda. It's propaganda. You saw him, he's retweeting anti-Muslim videos. There's a video from the Netherlands, and this anti-Muslim group, Britain First, I think, England First, Britain First, they made it, and it's described as a Muslim migrant attacking a random kid on a bike, you know, for no reason. Now, out of context, looks bad, right? In context, not a Muslim migrant, born in the Netherlands, received his education in the Netherlands, punished in the Netherlands, under the rule of law in the Netherlands. Propaganda. It's propaganda. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have this clown on Twitter with however many followers he has, and when he tweets out something, whether it's true or not true, you have 30% of the country, the 30% that are going to live and die with this guy, they believe it as fact. Even if he tweeted out that the sky was green, they would believe him. So it comes to a question where, yeah, I mean, listen, the nation is very important to me. Like, it's very important that we live in a free democracy and all that stuff and all that jibber jabber. But if 30% of the country supports this fascist regime, are we worth saving? That's the question. Like, if there's 100 people in a room and the building's about to burn down, like, and 30% of those people are fascist Nazis, do I care about saving All 100 of those people? Or am I just going to set the place ablaze? I don't know anymore. I don't know. That's an existential question I have to ask myself every day. I fight with myself where, is this important? Are we worth saving? Are we really worth it? As Americans, this is what we got. This is what we did. You people did this. And now we are paying the price. So enjoy your tax cuts. The tax scam. Enjoy that. Enjoy the $1.44 trillion getting added to the deficit. The millions of people getting kicked off health insurance. All while people like the Trump family get billions of dollars in tax cuts. While they get rid of the estate tax. There's like 20 people in life that the estate tax matters to. But it's okay. Because, on their tax return in 2 years, these Rust Belt clowns, the 30%, the 29% of the country, when they get an extra $6 on their tax return, it's not gonna bother. Oh yeah, look at that. No Bama never gave me that. No Bama never gave me no raise. I mean, really? Maybe if mental health was covered under your insurance, you guys can get some help and learn how to see clearly. Maybe you guys can talk to somebody. Tax scam. The GOP tax scam. Michael Flynn lying to the FBI. This all is coming out Friday, right before the weekend. First day of December. There are some Republican senators saying to themselves, wake me up when December ends. J. Porks, Dyze in your house.